wow. This is really good. I like it. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster side. Did I get it?
Yeah, baby, that was fine.
Oh, okay, mister. Thanks.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome to Hokey Religion, the Star Wars podcast. This episode, we're going to talk about the Millennium Falcon ride at Galaxy's Edge, as well as lots of stuff with the Solo movie. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Welcome to episode 68.
68. Almost the magic number.
Hopefully you enjoyed our new intro theme. That's going to be the new one forever.
Forever.
For always. Just remember that yesterday was April Fool's, not today, so this one's real.
It's perfect.
Enjoy.
Yep. Forever.
We felt like our old one was stale, and this one's going to stick. This is the one.
I can't wait to talk about Star Wars today.
Yes.
We have so many things to talk
So,
piling up. Things are just piling up. You should
the
look around at the recording offices.
The
here.
listener submitted letters are just piling at the door.
We're having to swim through the piles of newspaper and
Yep, that's what's
Fan
happening with
mail.
Star Wars right now, because
fan mail written in blood and
it's all
tears.
just endless news stories about the Solo directors and or all the things that happened behind the scenes, pretty much.
Or the here's the top 10 things we learned from Last Jedi behind the scenes.
Yeah, or Blu-ray reviews, which I don't understand.
Blu-ray reviews? I
Yeah,
haven't seen
like people
those.
reviewing the Blu-rays and like
What?
the features and
The
stuff.
packaging?
I think everything about the Blu-ray, yeah, like packaging, what's on the discs, the ones, the zeros.
These ones and zeros are in a particularly enticing order.
They've been placed in such an order so as to show you the film. Good on you, Disney.
If you notice, if you swap around some of these ones and zeros, you'll actually notice you'll see a different film.
Dante's Peak.
That's the only other option.
Yes. Dante's Peak is a fantastic film, and you should always watch it.
I've never seen it.
Really?
No.
Have you seen Volcano?
No.
Because they both came out at the exact same time,
I know.
basically. It was that weird period where two of the same movie came out like every few months.
Wasn't that like Day After Tomorrow, and then there was another one? There was another big disaster movie like that came around
Yeah,
the
there
same
was,
time.
but I don't remember what it was.
Waterworld.
Dante's Peak
No, that
is
was way-
the better of the Volcano movies, in my opinion.
Okay. So it's not actually Dante's Peak, it's not about Dante.
Oh, that's the other Dante's Peak.
Al Dante. That's how I like my pasta.
Pasta Mountain. We're already off topic.
Pasta Mountain. That's not off topic. That's in my notes.
I came here today to talk about Pasta Mountain. And by God, I'll talk about
I have
it.
one goal for this podcast, and that's to talk about Pasta Mountain.
Well, go for it.
Top 5 pasta mountains. You got your spaghetti. You got your... Can you make a mountain out of penne? Have you ever tried?
I feel like it would be like a
Like
stack of
stackable,
logs
like a-
where they just
yeah.
roll.
Stackable, like a pyramid.
Just a pyramid.
Yeah,
It's a
like-
pyramid a mountain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go to our anchor in Egypt.
I can't do it.
Nope.
I was gonna do it, but-
Don't you dare. And just turn into a weird...
It's raining sideways.
we just turn the podcast into a weird news show where we have anchors and they're talking about nothing in particular.
We could go to the nerd. That's the one voice that's okay to do, right?
Nerd voice? Sure. It's socially acceptable.
If you notice, the pasta mountain, a triangle is technically not a mountain. It's actually a geometric shape.
Thank you, Pasta Nerd.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right. Now we're going to talk about Star Wars. So,
Why?
because we have to.
It's called...
It's our sworn duty.
Okay.
We swore and then we continue to swear about our swearing. Recently, Michael, NVIDIA, the graphics card maker company,
Yes.
released a blog post.
So excited to talk about this.
I can tell.
Talking
NVIDIA.
about press releases.
No, NVIDIA is behind the Millennium Falcon ride that's going to be in Galaxy's Edge.
Oh,
Yes.
this is something I know about.
Yes. So the Walt Disney Imagineering team teamed up with NVIDIA and Epic Games to develop new technology to drive this new Millennium Falcon ride attraction. When it launches, riders will enter a cockpit powered with a single box. BOXX chassis packed with 8 high-end NVIDIA Quadro P6000 GPUs connected via Quadro SLI.
This is not a press release at all.
Exactly. And this Quadro Sync synchronizes 5 projectors for the creation of dazzling ultra-high resolution, perfectly timed displays to fully immerse the riders in the world of in the world of Planet Batuu. Disney
right, so what's
Imagineering
going
took
on
advantage of the latest NVIDIA technology and the technical modifications they made to the Unreal Engine, which allows 8 GPUs to render at unprecedented quality and speed. And this ride is also being produced by ILM X Labs.
Mm-hmm.
Same
Okay.
people who have done the VR experiences and stuff like that, which have been fantastic.
Here's my question that I've probably asked before, but do you think there are going to be multiple cockpits
Yes.
for this ride?
Yes, has to be.
So we're not actually walking through the Falcon to get to the cockpit to sit down and be part of the ride. Do you think?
Maybe a miniature sized or just I don't know how
Because
it's gonna
they're
work.
building a life-size Falcon.
Yes.
So that would have to
an
be
attraction ride. I doubt they could do one at a time like that.
that would have to be
It would
near.
take forever, and the line would be hours long.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm wondering. But they have a life-size Falcon there, and I'm trying to figure out if this is near. It would have to be near the ride at the entrance or something, right?
Sure.
So you've got your life-size Falcon, and then you get in line to get on the Falcon somewhere else.
Maybe.
That
I mean,
seems
they
like
have
that
enough
doesn't make
space to
sense.
have,
With all the immersion that they're considering for everything else. Like,
but they
how
have
would
enough
that-
space to have, I don't know, multiple entrance areas, if you will, when you get on the ride. You're sent this way or that way, like some of the other rides, or you end up in like a holding area, like in Haunted Mansion. You're like in a holding area, which is the living space of the Falcon, the middle with the hollow chests and whatever. I don't know.
That's fine, yeah.
And then you go through a door to the cockpit ish. It's not going to be the hallway. I mean, maybe a little hallway, but they may have multiple smaller versions of those because you've never been on the real Falcon, so you don't know what the real dimensions are. Well, you know what they should be, but they're
That's what
obviously
I'm
not
saying.
gonna
If
be
you
that
actually
large.
get on the Falcon, it's going to be pretty clear that the dimensions don't line up.
probably
If you're going down a
but it's
different
also a theme
hallway.
park, and they've got to do something.
See, that's what I'm. That's kind of a thing for the whole park that I'm
Complaining
trying to
about the
figure out.
line to an awesome ride.
I'm trying to figure out this thing for the whole park. Like they say, it's going to be total immersion and there's like storylines to stuff, and they're building all this crazy stuff. But then they're still going to have to manage, like we were talking about recently. They're still going to have to manage this as a theme park. There's still going to be shitty people there taking pictures with their iPads, and
Yeah.
and there's going to be Florida heat and humidity and rain and ice cream all over the floor.
Elderly in
and
their little scooter things bumping into you. Yeah.
it's going to have all that.
Strollers and balloons.
People eating turkey legs, walking around. Like that kind of stuff. It's how are they going to manage all this immersion, but then still have a regular theme park? Still have it be a regular theme park at the same time.
I don't know.
I can't figure it out.
I don't know. But that's not the.
And are
interesting-
you going to be able to get in the Falcon's guns?
No, because they don't make any sense. They don't have that kind of gravity technology to allow you to go up, down, and both sideways. It's a Wonkavator. You take a Wonkavator to get to the Falcon's guns.
There's like you climb down the ladder, and then suddenly your body is in a different. It just rotates.
Different time and space.
goes down
with
into the
this-
seat.
It has its own gravity. Yeah, we've discussed this. Even what was it? Ryan Johnson said the Falcon's guns don't make sense.
Yeah, we talked about that last
Yeah.
episode.
But anyways,
All right, so
what's even
Nvidia's
cooler
doing a
about this
computer.
ride is it's with NVIDIA and Epic Games, and each cockpit is going to have 8 GPUs SLI'd
Mhm.
with 5 projectors.
Yeah.
This is fully a flight simulator. This is a video game, not just a ride.
Yeah. That's
And
true.
they've talked about
Yeah.
about you having more immersion to it, where like the outcome has different effects throughout the park. For you. They've talked
you'll
about
actually
that.
be piloting the Falcon.
Yes, you and a crew will be piloting the Falcon. They've talked about what you do or how you do or your score will affect you're
something else in the
something
park.
else in the park, whether it be with the
Yeah.
Underworld or the First Order or the Resistance,
Yeah.
whatever. So there's a score, and it's not get on Star Tours and enjoy the ride. You're part of it and functioning with it.
Yeah.
Which is what they said before. Which usually it's like, oh, make a decision, push the button now. Oh, you missed the button in the right time. Like what am I thinking of? Mission Space at Epcot is like that, where it's like, oh, push the button. If you don't push the button, it's like, oh, system override, and then it does it anyways.
Yeah.
Which this does not sound
Engineer,
like that.
activate shields, and then it waits, and it's like,
Yeah,
shields activated.
There's only 3 people instead of 4. No one's in that seat, so shields activated anyways. But this sounds, and they've talked about how it will affect in the park, so it sounds much more immersive. And the fact that it's NVIDIA and Epic Games, and it's powered by GPUs and projectors, like live there at the ride. This is just the Star Wars flight simulator.
Yeah,
this is a video game that you get to play as a theme park ride.
It sounds like it.
Which is
it sounds pretty cool.
Really awesome.
Again, going back to my point of how are they going to manage this to where it's not 1,000 minutes to wait to get on this.
Right. Yes. How are they going to manage having 8 SLI GPUs not breaking down constantly?
I don't know. I would imagine something similar powers other rides, even if it is just a collection of videos,
I guess.
I don't know. They would have to be pretty high resolution. You would have, high-end digital projectors anyway,
right?
For the majority of things.
Well, yes, but this one seems to be very much powered by GPUs. I don't know. It seems like a video game,
like a flight simulator,
and it's just
saying. Yeah.
Well, this one has crashed. One of the GPUs burnt out.
Yeah.
We got to get a guy to go to Best Buy and get another one and plug it in. Oh crap! NVIDIA GeForce Experience updated, and now none of the drivers are right. We gotta uninstall and reinstall. We'll be back with you guys in like 4 hours.
So does this mean they can mine Bitcoin at the same time that you're
shit,
or on the off times
after park hours? They just have like 6 Falcon cockpits just mining the shit out of Bitcoin. Not that it's worth anything anymore.
Nope.
Topical.
Nope, that is true. Next.
Good counterpoint. Thank you. No, but it sounds really cool. Like basically a flight simulator. And I'm very excited about that.
I've been thinking about this.
Uh-oh.
So obviously when the park first opens, we're going to be there.
Yeah.
When the hotel first opens, we have to do that.
Yep.
Somehow.
We'll sell our children.
I've been trying to figure out the have we talked about this? The transition between the hotel
and park.
Park, right? And that you've already got the transition with Star Tours.
Yeah.
From the regular Studios park into Batuu. Like there's that new sequence. So now are we gonna have something similar? I guess we were talking about it being like the Harry Potter train at Universal Studios. Some kind of like it'll be a short distance, but you'll have
It depends what the distance is from the hotel to the park, because it sounds like it's going to be close.
It would have to be like right there.
So either something like Universal has a Harry Potter train where all the windows are monitors. Basically, they're all LEDs, and you see a video of what's happening outside the train, like you're going through Hogwarts land. And
you're traveling basically in a little monorail. I mean, it is a train. It's like a roller coaster track, basically, but it's a train. It's an actual train that is traveling not even a mile.
Yeah, from Universal Studios,
couple hundred yards,
to Islands of Adventure,
couple hundred yards, something like that, because the two parks are right next to each other.
Right.
So, and then the monitor is exaggerating your speed, and
and
there's like projections.
So maybe you have something like that to make it feel like a transport.
Yeah.
Or if it's close enough, and that there's I don't know.
Maybe you would just walk. Yeah.
Or there's a walk. You take a fake elevator that again has LEDs that make it look like you're on a transport
or a shuttle,
like a fake shuttle going down from the ship to the planet.
Yeah.
And then it's just like a fake elevator that you have to enter this room to transition to the park.
Yeah.
Type of thing, and then you walk the rest of the way.
I'm just wondering how, because at the Universal and Islands train thing for Harry Potter, there's a wait time to get on that train, and it's super shitty because all you want to do.
But that's a whole park worth of people. Whereas you have a hotel with, there's going to be hundreds of people, obviously. But
I would think it would be the same volume of people because you're going to have people going and coming constantly. you know, from between the parks, because it's
Maybe.
good. It's going to be that's the whole deal with this hotel is it's immersive, it's connected, it's all
Right.
one thing.
I would think if it's within walking distance, I would think they would make you walk before they would have a train thing that you'd have to wait for and could possibly break down.
Right, that's what I'm wondering. Is it going to be like a
I think
But how would you do
you've
that?
got fake elevator room to walking.
what is that, space elevator? Like, how would they keep it immersive?
Well,
That's what
I'm
I'm trying
talking
to
about
figure out.
how, like, you know, the fake room that you would, like, the fake elevator you would go in on, oh, I can't remember what ride I'm thinking of.
The fake elevator.
It was an old Disney ride, but
No.
but it's not an elevator. It's just it's a fake room.
Oh, was it
that-
the Disney Quest one? Is that what you're talking
I think
about?
they
No, that was
had
a real
one.
elevator.
There used to be at the sea at Epcot, where it used to be an elevator that would take you underwater, quote underwater, but it was just like a room that
Oh, I
one
remember
door
that
opened
one.
and the other side the other door opened, but it just the ground shook and there was water going past the windows, but you weren't really going anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a fake elevator room and not really an elevator,
Well,
a shuttle that you just
at that-
stand in.
At the Harry Potter ride, actually, at
Yes,
at
Gringotts
yeah.
roller coaster. At
yeah, there's that
Universal.
fake elevator in the middle,
right. So
which
like,
is basically
like
just
that.
used to buffer people.
Like that, but think space shuttle going from spaceship to a planet with just LEDs. You're just standing in a room and it shakes, and
Yeah.
then you end up on the planet, and then you walk, half a mile
Yeah,
and get to the park.
maybe down a corridor or something.
That would seem
yeah.
easier.
Or some kind of underground thing that they could theme. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the logistics. for
Or it's
all of
far
this
enough
stuff.
away that they actually have to use special Disney buses with LED windows to take you from place to place.
See, that and the train thing, I'm just, maybe those options will be there, but I'm just trying to think. Like, obviously you're going to have to be able to get from this hotel to other Disney hotels, not just and parks and stuff, not just the Batu at the studios. So
Do they make you
maybe
leave your wardrobe that they dressed you in? Can you not
See,
leave
yeah, all
dressed
this-
as a normal person?
that's what I'm saying. All this logistic stuff. I'm trying to figure out how this is all.
You
gonna
want
work.
this all to be one big LARP that
I
you
know.
can enjoy
I know.
with no one bothering you at any point.
Exactly.
Even though you're at Disney World, like the place you get the most bothered by everyone else
Yeah.
in the world. That's not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like. Well, yeah, I don't.
Though
I don't
they're going to
know.
have.
I don't know how
they have
it's-
those galactic nights and stuff like that. Those Star Wars nights. There's going to be some special Star Wars thing where it's like just open to the hotel people or something one night or something.
at the park.
I would expect them to have something like that.
There's got to be. Yeah, there's got to be tie-ins.
Like if you stay at this hotel, you get to stay in just Galaxy's Edge for an extra 2 hours
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
And then it's just a bunch of LARPing dumbass people.
Yeah.
It's you and me and a bunch of other people that are like, oh, Star Wars! I'm Star Wars!
with the
Running
jumpsuits
around.
on and everything.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you're just, running and pointing at things. And
I'm also trying to figure out are these jumpsuits going to be like legit? Or are they just going to be like
plastic.
party store
They're plastic.
quality?
They're made of plastic.
Yeah, to where. Okay, I'm not gonna want to wear this for 8 hours or what.
It's like windbreaker material.
Yeah, right. It's that material that
When you walk, it's
that
like
falls apart. that works for one Halloween night and then
yeah, like
falls
felt.
apart. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Probably
Like all the rough edges. How are they gonna smooth this stuff out
I don't know.
to work?
It's
Anyway.
Disney. You'll pay for it. If you want it smooth, you'll pay for it.
Oh, I want it smooth.
The only
I
way
always
you
want
like
it
it.
smooth.
Well,
What's next?
one day we'll get more information about the Disney park. There is D23 is happening again in Anaheim next year in August of 2019. So hopefully there'll be more film information, and
Yep,
as well
we'll
as
have more because it's in. Is it April?
It's in August.
Oh, you just said that.
Yeah, so hopefully more
So we'll-
films to be announced, and
We'll
maybe
definitely have
park stuff.
had a trailer, or maybe be getting a trailer for
That's true. So
9.
So we'll get something, yeah. But the park will already be open by then, because the park opened summer 2019, right?
The park, yeah. I'm saying a trailer for 9.
Oh, I know. We'll get that. But I was wondering, like, they're not gonna. Maybe they'll announce more stuff about the hotel by then, because the park will already be open.
Yeah, the hotel's gonna be after the park, definitely.
yeah.
Probably several years after.
As far as I know, they haven't started construction yet.
Yeah.
So the park will already be open, but hopefully by D23 next year, we'll have maybe more information. If they don't before then, we'll have more information on other Star Wars films, not just 9. But then maybe more info on the actual info on the hotel, because last D23 is where they had the big display of the park.
Yeah.
Galaxy's Edge. Maybe we'll have something for the hotel by next year's D23.
That would be nice. Yeah, so maybe like we were talking about last time, more info on the standalone films or these new trilogies and series they're going to be working on. More stuff about the TV show. All this stuff that's coming up in the next couple of years.
Right.
I'm still holding out for that Obi-Wan film.
That would be cool.
You know, Liam Neeson came out at some point and said he would be willing to come back as Qui-Gon. That'd
be cool.
And that would be perfect, like as a Force Ghost or something. That would be a perfect opportunity for him.
Yeah.
To come back. Because there's not going to be any kind of flashback to a prequel or like a Qui-Gon
I don't think so.
Origin story or anything like that.
No.
So to have him come back, which would be really cool, I think.
Yeah.
As like a Force Ghost in a Obi-Wan movie. That'd be great.
Yeah, it would be cool. I agree. Hopefully it happens.
I know. We agree on this.
This is all good stuff, Michael. Good. Thank you. All right. The Han Solo movie is still on. It's still happening. I don't know why I feel the need to encourage it. Despite the lack of anything, the movie is still going to come out, and it's May. I've totally forgot. 25th, which is it's like less than 60 days away.
Yes,
which is really close to not have anything but we have a teaser. Is that a full trailer? Would you call that a full trailer?
Yeah, it's a full trailer, right? It's over a minute, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. So a full trailer, and then hopefully we'll get more stuff, more teasers or something before then. But in the meantime, Ron Howard, I know the scoring is completed. Mm-hmm. The score for the film is completed. And then Ron Howard said the final sound mix is in progress and that the visual effects and 3D conversion are also wrapping up. By the time this episode comes out, they're probably already done. So it looks like the movie's ready, at least with 2 months to go for the most part. Which is pretty good for as much trouble as it's had for it to be done still 2 months before the film comes out.
Yeah.
Whereas something we keep going back to is how Force Awakens was like 3 weeks beforehand. JJ was still doing stuff.
Right.
Which is crazy. The composer, which I completely forgot who it was. I was just looking it up for anyone else that wasn't sure. It's John Powell, who's done stuff like How to Train Your Dragon, Happy Feet, Bolt, Hancock, Kung Fu Panda, The Lorax, X-Men The Last Stand, The Italian Job, all the Bourne films, Chicken Run, Face Off, to go back really far.
Face Off.
Right, yeah.
So you're saying he's worked on movies before?
Yes. He's done a lot of scores on a lot of cartoon movies.
That's what this is, though.
But, well.
It has Woody Harrelson in it. It was directed by guys who have only done lighthearted kids
if you
movies.
think about the fact that he scored X-Men The Last Stand, this is probably in the same caliber
That's
of
what
film.
I'm saying. This is it. This is what he does.
We're already shitting on this guy before we've even heard his Star Wars score.
Oh, well, Phil and Chris did 21 Jump Street. I forgot about that.
Right.
What else did they do? They did
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah, and the Lego movie. That's right.
And the Lego movie. Yep.
See, that's why I like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs so much.
Because it was them?
I know I'm completely switching what I'm saying here, but yeah. Well, I don't know.
What are we complaining about now? I can't keep track.
I didn't know it was directed by them, I guess. Are you sure?
Yes.
See, I love that movie. That movie's great.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is great.
It's really
all those
funny.
other ones you listed that were by them, I do not like. We've been over this on the podcast before.
Yeah, several times.
We'll talk about them in a little bit because stuff has happened.
Stuff has come out.
So, additionally, with the books coming out, so you've got like Last Shot is a book coming out in April. There's some other like young adult books and stuff like that. But a planet name was confirmed, which is Vandor. Vandor is the planet where the train heist will go down, and that train actually has a name. It's the Conveyix. The train heist with the Conveyix goes down. So Vandor is the planet where we see the train going through what we assume to be an iridium mountains. And we assume,
Iridium?
yes.
Like Borderlands Iridium?
I don't know, maybe.
Did you ever play Borderlands?
Yes, I did.
In Borderlands 2, they introduced Iridium that you get. It's basically crystals you can use to buy stuff.
Yes.
Upgrading. That's not a Star Wars thing, is it? Iridium?
I think Iridium's a location, not a thing.
Oh, well, what'd you say?
The
Iridium Valley?
Iridium Mountains. Like the Iridium Mountains.
Oh, I thought this was like
the
an
mountain
ore
range.
or something.
No. So yeah. So Vandor.
Hold on.
Why?
Never
I'm
mind.
gonna keep talking. Vandor rang a bell. So I was like, Vandor rang a bell from stuff from Legends, from the old EU books and stuff. And it was interesting what I found about it after it's been so long since I've read anything about that name. So Vandor 3, there's 3 planets named Vandor. Vandor 1, Vandor 2, Vandor 3.
Mm-hmm.
Vandor 1 and 2 are like desolate crap planets. This is all in the Coruscant system. Vandor 3 was the 5th planet in the Coruscant system. In the year 43, before the Battle of Yavin, the Tech Raiders, a criminal organization that stole tech equipment and later sold them on the black market, relocated their base to Vandor 3. And then Vandor 3 also served as a training ground for clone troopers during the Clone Wars. For the training ground, a barracks was constructed on the capital's outskirts that could hold 50,000 troopers. It became part of the Galactic Empire at some point after the Battle of Endor. And then, at some point after the Battle of Endor, Vandor 3 joined the New Republic, and later its successor, the Galactic Federation of Free Alliances. So, a couple things from that. The Tech Raiders, who's a criminal organization that stole tech equipment and later sold them on the black market, relocated their base to Vandor 3. Well, the bad guy from this movie, or whatever, I don't know, rival, who is Enfys Nest, who's the guy who looks like his helmet looks like it's got Nighthawk wireless router. It's got like these antenna on it. I don't know. It looks like he's got a router helmet. So they're like a rival group of thieves, right? Like I think they're running into them, or they're also trying to steal the same thing from the train, right?
That's what it seems like. Or this is something like a debt Woody Harrelson's character owes to this group, and so he's doing this job
To pay them back?
pay off the debt or something like that. Yeah,
Interesting.
because it wasn't there. Does the rumor is true? Wasn't there something about this guy? What's his name? Enfys?
Enfys Nest.
Enfys. Wasn't there something about him and Han having a past
Yeah.
together, or Han owes him something, or like there's some kind of
Right.
history between him and Han.
Right. So I found it interesting that Vandor is a planet they're stealing something from, but there's also this rival group of thieves, whereas Vandor in the Legends had a thieving
Mhm.
group that had a base there.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think it's really cool because Vandor, the planet Vandor, just Vandor, is a new planet being introduced in Solo. But from the fact that there was multiple planets named Vandor in the EU with criminal organizations and ties to the Empire and the Republic, it sounds like they're basically bringing Vandor as a new planet into the canon, the new canon, with a history and past, and probably scrapping the fact that there were 3 of them and just having the one interesting one, maybe.
Yeah.
But I found the fact that it rang a bell and that it sounds like they're, I don't know, the reintroducing of stuff from the EU like they've been doing with Thrawn and other stuff. I think it's very cool that
This one's
one of the planets.
I mean, this one's a super deep pull. This is from like the Jedi Apprentice books,
Right, yeah.
which who read the the Jedi Apprentice
Right. I just
books?
the name rang a bell of something I remembered from way back. And I had to look it up, and I didn't even know there were 3 of them. I just remember there being a planet named Vandor.
Yeah. I mean, this is like early 2000s after the prequels had started.
Yeah.
Books.
It's just another cool
So-
thing of them not just inventing something new, but pulling something and
Yeah.
keeping it somewhat in line with what it was before, but changing it to meet the needs,
Yeah.
which
Yeah, I
is
guess so.
is nice. It's, I don't know. Instead of just like whole new canon, whole new stuff. There's a new planet. Drop it in the map.
Yeah.
Like, this planet was probably near Coruscant, and it's probably going to be near Coruscant.
Right.
I would hope so. And it's
this-
just it's the new Vandor, the new and improved Vandor planet,
Yeah.
which is cool.
This stuff is very as needed at this point. Like they're pulling
Yeah, they don't have to do this.
right. They're pulling stuff from Legends when they need a backstory or a planet or something that that matches the story that they already have in their mind.
Right. Like we already have this cool planet that kind of meets exactly what's happening here in the same area that it's going to be happening. So why not bring it back in?
Right.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Apparently, iridium was an element mentioned in the Dark Knight game.
Interesting.
Dark Forces.
Oh, Dark
Jedi
Forces.
Knight. Yeah, Dark Forces, Jedi Knight.
Dark Forces is fantastic.
I played that game so long ago, I can't remember it at all, but
It's great.
I remember the main story.
Right.
That I remember the guy, the Sith guy that floated around on that little like hover belt.
Oh yeah.
He didn't have any legs.
Yeah, I remember that.
He looked like what's the guy from Fantastic Four? The Thing.
Oh, the Thing? Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Was his name Maw, or was his name Maw?
Like
Yeah, it was Maw. Yeah, this guy.
Oh yeah. Yep. He
Remember
looks like
him?
a rock person. He
Yeah.
looks like the Thing.
Oh, that dude was great.
So,
Anyway, what were we talking about?
the Solo film. That was all the good stuff.
Yeah. So then,
so then a lot of stuff has been happening with like any interview with the cast of the film, whether it's Donald Glover or Thandie Newton. Interesting that the guy that plays Solo, I can't remember his name now. I haven't seen any interviews with him at all. Alden. I haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Like he's not been.
Yeah, you're right.
He's not been around, which I think is interesting. But any interviews with them, there were people. They've been talking about what the experience was with Chris and Phil, and
there hasn't been any interviews with anybody.
There's been stuff with
Right?
with Donald Glover and with Andy Newton. I've seen
But
stuff
like,
with both of them.
in passing, kind of like they were at some event
Right?
unrelated.
Yeah, like just a couple questions and like a paragraph long
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. But they've been talking. They've said stuff about how it was working with Chris and Phil, and how it was working with my brain just broke completely. Ron
Yeah.
Howard.
Oh,
And how like
that's who you're trying to remember.
yeah. And like the fact that they found out that Chris and Phil were fired the same way all of us did. They just saw it on the internet one day, which is super crappy.
Yeah.
But
Which makes me think a lot of a lot of these conflicts that they were having, like between Kathleen and Phil and Chris, was all behind
right.
closed doors. Like it wasn't, which I guess is good, but
I think it's all like in the editing room and with the
Yeah.
dailies and stuff. It's all the stuff just between them, showing them footage and things
Yeah.
like that. Not really on set.
Yeah.
But they've all been saying how it was great working with Chris and Phil, and it was even it was great working with Ron Howard, and none of the actors are saying ill. None of
But-
the main actors are saying ill of either party.
with this, so this article was written, or the source for this article was some unnamed
Yeah, so
source that
Vulture-
was very
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 involved
closely
in the movie.
involved with the production. Yeah.
Yeah, so Vulture spoke to an actor who worked on Solo for 4 months under both the direction of Chris and Phil and the direction in October with Howard.
Yeah.
And it's not one of the film's marquee stars. And according to his description, so it's a dude, the production was divided into 2 distinct chapters, one disorganized and chaotic, the other controlled and efficient. This is a direct quote saying, Phil and Chris are good directors, but they weren't prepared for Star Wars. After the 25th take, the actors look at each other like, this is getting weird. Lord and Miller seemed a bit out of control. They definitely felt the pressure. With one of these movies, there are so many people on top of you all the time. The first assistant director was really experienced and had to step in to help them direct a lot of scenes. So they were talking, this person went on to talk about how the fact there, said the 25th take. It almost seemed like they didn't know what they wanted, or they were just doing their improv thing like they do with 21 Jump Street, and just like, let's say it a different way. Say it this way. Just do something different now, and just taking a bunch of takes to just find it in the editing room. To put the movie together in the editing room like you would with a comedy, where you just take a bunch of different funny takes, take the best one that fits, and put it and edit it in.
Yeah.
With 21 Jump Street, I'm sure that works. With Star Wars, I don't think that does, especially with the timeline you have to get one done. And so with that having been said, it makes a lot of sense what lines up with what Kathleen has said about, just their creative process didn't align with our process type of thing. And if they're taking too much time or don't know what they really want, that's a problem.
It almost sounds to me it was more like they were scared in a way. Like
Like they wanted to make sure they got the best thing, like
Yeah,
they
so
got the
let's
best shot or the best take.
but didn't necessarily know how to I don't know, how to get it.
Maybe
It's very speculative.
like they didn't know
but
what they want. Again, it's a anonymous source, and you can take all of this with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
It could be damage control on Disney's part. It could be just somebody talking out of line too. You don't know.
Yeah.
The person even went on to talk about back when Alden's the whole thing came out in the news about him getting an acting coach on the set, and they actually talked about that. How after the acting coach came on, like Alden started, like it was better. Like Alden was Han Solo and was more calm and chill and more into the character,
Right.
whereas before he wasn't, which I still find that one tough because he's not a bad actor.
Right. But I think
But maybe again, just the pressure of like, holy shit, I'm Han Solo and I have to be Han Solo. And I don't know how much of a, because the problem is, and this is what this person mentioned as well, is they didn't want him to portray Han Solo, like his version of Han Solo. They wanted him to be Harrison Ford.
yeah.
He had to be Harrison Ford in this movie as a younger version.
Yeah.
So they wanted this exact thing. They didn't want him to act like a person. They wanted him to be a person. And so he had to become Harrison Ford. And that, I mean, one, the pressure on that's difficult, but two, having no help trying to do that, I
Yeah.
can understand that being hard.
Yeah.
So the whole acting coach thing, I probably would have wanted help. Like if someone's like, you have to be Han Solo now. Do it. This is dependent on Disney. Like you have to do this now. I'd be like, I need someone to help me do that thing. As good of an actor as you are, unless you're a hardcore like character actor or something, that's not something actors typically do, right?
Have an acting coach on set with
No,
them,
no,
you
I'm
mean?
talking like like people like Heath Ledger or whoever else who like become a character and like embody or mimic. Even like if you think about Jim Carrey with what's that comedian's name? I can't remember it now.
Oh, and I almost said Andy Warhol. Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. Like he became Andy Kaufman. He was Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
Like he was like spot on Andy Kaufman.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people who can do that, but most actors go in with a character or their idea of how to portray a character and portray their version of the character that was written.
Yeah.
And unless you know how to do that, and he's fairly young. I mean, he hasn't been acting his entire life. He's still a young dude. He's not been in a ton of movies either. To be told you have to be Harrison Ford now, just be him, and your thing is not to be a character actor or become a character like that to exactly mimic something. Get help.
Yeah, right.
I would want help. I would be scared shitless. That's a lot of pressure. I find it interesting it took that long for them to realize they needed help with that.
I think this goes back to Phil and Chris, though, that they couldn't get,
They couldn't tell or
no,
didn't
that
know what they wanted.
They couldn't get the performance out of him that needed to be there. And I don't know if it was a case of they didn't realize it, like you're saying, or they just didn't know how to have that conversation because they've never been in this kind of situation before.
Right.
And
Chris and Phil have come out and said stuff about it too. How, a lot of the films they've done have been animation.
Yeah.
Besides 21 Jump Street, which was,
think
comedy,
about-
fully improv. And they were talking about how like the timeline and process on an animation film is 100% different than a live action film.
Yeah, definitely.
And they've talked about how it was, Star Wars was definitely nothing like anything they've done before.
Right.
And
Well,
they've
think
come out and
about-
admitted that, especially like they've agreed. We don't like to say we hate the cliche of creative differences, but it very much was creative differences. Their process was different than our process or any process we've been used to working with, and it just wasn't working.
Right. But think about Lucas too. I mean, he is very well versed in the history of film and how films are made and how directors are supposed to work day to day. But then he was awful at getting performances out of, or he was a very vague director. I guess you could put it that way.
Right.
That the choices that, especially in the original trilogy, the choices, I guess in either the prequels or the original trilogy, the choices the actors made were their choices. Like Mark
Yeah, for
Hamill
the
had to
most part,
come
yeah.
in for A New Hope and decide, okay, this is what I think, this is who I think Luke is. This is
Right.
what I think he would be doing in this scene. This is how I think he would behave. And Lucas would give very vague directions, like what was his famous thing? Faster and more intense or something like that.
Yeah, just like faster, more intense.
Yeah.
Like he would just, okay.
Right. Like, what does that mean?
Right,
It's
yeah.
like that kind of thing. It's not necessarily a reflection on their ability, I guess I would say. It's just maybe a weakness or a
Maybe.
weakness in how to work with actors.
I mean, it's definitely the how grandiose making a Star Wars film is. The pressure on that, the
Well,
timeline,
it's the pressure,
the
yeah.
pressure, the process, the timeline, everything is nothing like they've dealt with before. They're used to both animation and comedy, where you have to kind of play with it to get it right.
Yeah.
And like, we're saying stuff that everyone else has already said, where, I mean, it definitely was creative differences, but it's interesting hearing from someone that was supposedly someone that was on the film saying that they had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
And then how Ron Howard came in and like instantly took over, like shot a ton of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and got it like 2 takes done.
Right.
Like from their 25 to his like 2 or 3, and how much he got through compared to what they got through was like night and day.
Yeah.
But that's also, it's Ron Howard.
Right.
The dude's made 500 movies and they've all won an Oscar. Like,
Right.
So I mean, he had to kind of brute force it too because of the timeline.
Yeah.
He had to get it through, and he seems very proud of the movies. So, and it seems like they also kept a lot of what Chris and Phil did. Ron's been very vague to say how much he has and hasn't done, because it's not his place to, anyways. But Chris and Phil also said
He's trying to be respectful. Of what
he
they
had
did.
nothing to do with what happened, so it's
Right.
not his place to say anything about it.
Right.
But then Chris and Phil have, it was said as well that Chris and Phil said they didn't fight for director credits at all. They took executive producer credits on the film.
Okay.
So they will be credited in the film as executive producers.
Yeah.
But not as directors.
Right.
Again, so who knows
Makes
how
sense.
much of their direction was left in or not.
Yeah, it sounds like pretty much, I mean, everything. Every major story or any kind of scene with involved in the main story was reshot.
For the most
So,
part, I mean,
the majority of
characters
it.
have been cut. We already know actors that have said their character was completely cut.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, who knows? It's just, I feel really bad for them
Yeah.
having gone through this. But it's not like any of their previous movies have done poorly.
Right.
So I hope that this is not any reflection on them and in the industry, that they get like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Pushed out of anything because of it, because I don't think they deserve that. It just,
I mean, what do we know? We just
right. What are we but two
Who
guys
are we?
sitting in the 4th bedroom of my house wearing no pants.
Oh, what? That's what that is?
It's pantless the Wednesdays.
Pantsless Wednesday. I've been catching up with the Darth Vader comic book series.
yes.
Are we done talking about
I
Han
think
Solo?
we're good.
The thing that we've been talking about constantly?
I think we said a lot of nice things about Han Solo today.
Did we?
I think so. I think there was a lot of positivity.
All right. As much as we
April
could.
Fools! Han Solo sucks.
Oh!
I don't know.
Yes. 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 Yes.
No, I am more excited about it now that the director's excited about it, and cool things seem to be being put into the movie. And I don't know. I still don't like the pimp stormtroopers or the router-headed villain, but we'll see.
The pimp stormtroopers.
You've seen they have a Black Series 6-inch Black Series figure of it. The one with like the shaggy, like the fuzzy
those
boot
guys,
covers
yeah.
and the big helmet, and they look like they should be holding a pimp cane. Yeah, they look like pimp troopers.
Those guys. Yeah.
Rogue One, we had the beach troopers, and now we've got the pimp troopers.
We've got pimp troopers on the pimp planet. You know.
Sure.
I've been catching up on the Darth Vader comic book series, the current one that's going on. Also, the one that was in what was it, 2 years ago or something, 2016.
Yes.
That one, I haven't finished that one yet, but I have several volumes of that. That was very good. That was a little different than this one. This one it picked up as soon as Vader put on the suit, basically. So
Right.
his, Jamaican yell.
No, my manwich. Yeah.
Oh no.
The original one was alongside the Star Wars comic that was running, and was like, it was in the middle of.
Yeah.
It was after A New Hope, I think, is where it picked up.
Yeah.
Right.
It
Whereas
was
this
after.
one-
I think it was. Yeah, it was after A New Hope, right? So after the Death Star had exploded. So
yeah, that's where
there
the
was-
first Vader series started.
Yeah.
And then that run ended, and then they started a new Vader series, which starts.
went
where-
back.
It starts where Vader starts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you like I said, you get the history of him learning to deal with the suit for the first time. You get the
Is there like a wacky scene where he can't control his arms, and he's like,
whoa,
like Pinocchio trying to walk for
hey.
the first time? I really hope so.
You get him building his lightsaber. Well, okay, first you get him bleeding a crystal, which was
Nice.
really cool.
That's really cool.
But it was, hunting down, I think you read this one, hunting
Oh,
down
yeah,
a Jedi
yeah.
to get his lightsaber, to get the kyber crystal in it, and then bleed it.
Yeah, because the Palpatine wouldn't help him with like the lightsaber stuff. Like,
Yeah, he didn't give him a
like,
weapon.
Vader had to go get a lightsaber.
Palpatine dropped him off basically on a planet with no weapons, with a very powerful Jedi on the planet, and his mission was kill this Jedi and get his lightsaber.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, and so while I'm reading this series, I'm reading the Lords of the Sith book,
Mm-hmm.
the Paul Kemp book, I think was the author, which came out years ago.
Right.
I think before Force Awakens came out.
I think so. It was one of the first handful of
Yeah.
new canon books.
Right. And it's really good. It explores that tension between master and apprentice in the Sith order, that like there's a mutual respect for each other, but at the same time,
It's a competition still.
yeah, the master knows the apprentice's job is to kill the master.
Right.
He knows that's his job, and he knows that's coming. So his job is to be as strong as possible, to show strength at all times, to never show weakness or anything like that. Because if he does, now it's the apprentice's job to kill him and become the master. And then it's the apprentice's job to respect the master and learn from the master until he gets to the point where they become equals or he becomes greater.
Mm-hmm.
So exploring that dynamic was really cool. But some of that comes across in this comic series too, where like the thing where, Sidious drops him off on the planet.
Right.
Like Sidious could give a shit whether Vader dies or lives.
Yeah.
It seems like. And so that kind of powers Vader's will to survive and show him.
Prove himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To prove himself, to not, like, he's not. Anakin or Vader considers himself to be superior to every other plan that Palpatine has.
Right.
Basically.
He thinks
So-
it's the most important thing that Palpatine is doing.
Right.
Right.
So like in the original Vader comic series, Palpatine had a group of what were they? Were like they weren't Sith. They were like constructed
Battle bros.
cyborg things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was like this robot like fight club.
basically, yeah. But it was like supposed to be a bunch of Vaders, but obviously none were as powerful as Vader.
Right.
So Vader thought himself superior to all those people, and then kind of proved that he was.
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing here. In this comic series, it introduces the Inquisitors from Rebels,
Okay.
which I wasn't really psyched about to begin with. But as it goes into it, you actually get a little more history on who they were. And they're all fallen Jedi that were converted or tempted, I guess. Sidious
Yeah.
talks about how he learned their weaknesses and exploited them.
Mm.
So that was kind of interesting to hear. And like the Grand Inquisitor, it goes into him being motivated by knowledge. Like he was always denied history on the Force, knowledge about history on the Force and history on the Jedi and the Sith and all that stuff by the Jedi Order when he was, still in the Order. So his main weakness is he just wants knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So Palpatine exploits that and promises him access to the Jedi library,
Archives and stuff.
Yeah, the archives, all that stuff. So yeah, there's a whole storyline with that too. But the series is excellent. It's
That's cool.
the way it, like I was saying, the way it explores the dynamic between Vader and Sidious, or Palpatine. I keep calling him Sidious, but the way it explores that dynamic is it's really cool, and you get a lot of history on what was going on in Vader's head, leading up to like why, where was all this rage coming from, and what was motivating him to, and how he thought of himself, like I was saying, compared to where he fit into.
Like, did he?
Palpatine's
I haven't
empire.
read it, so like with Vader, awakening, having his second awakening, basically, was there a, I don't know, a struggle? Did he want to be alive at that point? Did he even want to matter anymore?
It actually gets into that, to where, I forget who.
Like, did he think it was worth it to be around anymore? Like,
It's like he's so powered or motivated by this anger and just wanting to kill everything, because he can't stand himself and wants to die.
Yeah.
Basically, there's a moment in one of them, it was
Like he hates himself and what happened so much that he takes it out on everybody else.
Yeah, where basically he's going into the situations, he's being so reckless, like he's
like trying to chance his death,
kind of, but not quite on the nose like that. He never says that that's what he's doing. He never makes it obvious but
he doesn't care if he dies.
Right.
Really.
Yeah, basically. There's also these
Which is really one of the scariest things, is a villain that doesn't really care what happens to himself.
And is completely consumed by desire for power.
Yeah.
Which is one of the, that's one of the Sith traits. But
it's like John Wick, basically, where he
he has nothing left to lose.
He's just going in, guns blazing. He doesn't really care what happens. He's just so angry.
Yeah.
That he's fighting back.
Yeah. And then one of the other things too, and Palpatine, like I said, Palpatine, he knows that's a weakness of Vader, and he exploits it. Yeah. So the suit was part of that, where Palpatine constructed the suit for him, knowing that it was going to be extremely cumbersome and painful to put on, and it just like it fuels that rage and that desire to just get it all over with.
Jeez,
it's such a cool series, and you get a lot of that Vader that we had in Rogue One. It's basically that scene,
that badass Vader, but
stretched out over this whole comic book series.
Nice. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely worth catching up. It's on issue 13 right now. Volume 1 is out, that collects 1 through 6, so you could get that. And then it goes up to 13, and then 14 is coming out April 11th.
Nice.
Yeah. So there's a storyline right now where Jocasta Nu, the Jedi Archive, the main archive overseer, comes back.
How is she still alive?
She avoided Order 66.
Nice.
So that was another cool part. They have a list of Palpatine has a list of known Jedi that survived Order 66. And I was texting you. It was in Arabesh.
Nice.
So I translated it by hand, and it was her, Jocasta Nu, who was highlighted in red out of the whole list.
Interesting.
Ahsoka was on the list.
Nice.
Kanan was not, which I was a little surprised about. Because he was a youngling, I think, that escaped Order 66. Kanan was not on there.
Yoda
was on there. Yep. Quinlan Voss.
Okay, yeah.
Was on there, who was somebody's master. I can't remember now.
Yeah, I remember that name, but I can't remember it now.
And then a couple of others that I think one of them was the Jedi that Vader killed on that planet to get his lightsaber. So he was taken out. But there was a few others that don't sound familiar. Couple like little Easter eggs that aren't anybody that are in the universe.
Right. I know. Yeah, Quinlan Voss was in the Clone Wars show as well.
Right, he was somebody's master, somebody famous.
He was like a tracker.
Do you remember whose master he was? I can't remember now.
Let me
Anyway,
pull it up.
he survived Order 66. I can't remember. He was in Rebels too, wasn't he? I think he came back for Rebels.
He may have been.
So,
Oh,
anyway.
Isla Secura.
That doesn't sound familiar.
The blue.
Oh yeah. She was
Jedi. She was his Padawan.
She was in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
She first showed up in Attack of the Clones. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I would recommend anybody in lieu of Thrawn coming out later this year and
Yeah, because Thrawn comes
and some
out
other
in
stuff.
June, I think.
Yeah, and the solo book.
Last Shot comes out in
Last Shot.
April 14th, 16th, something
Okay.
around the 10th, I think.
I would definitely recommend in lieu of that, get this series. It's excellent. There are a lot of other series going on right now. Like there's a Darth Maul series that I've read that really isn't. It's not that great.
It's just one of the miniseries, right? That they're doing, or is it an ongoing?
It's still going, and it's been going since last year.
Jeez.
So there's a Darth Maul series going on right now. There's a Lando series. I think the Chewbacca series is going on still. The main Star Wars one is still going on. That's in like the 30s.
Dr. Afra.
Yeah. And Afra is actually somebody who showed up was introduced in the original Vader comic series. That's been okay. I've read a few issues of that. That's been okay. I would say of the things that I've read, this series is probably the best.
Nice.
So
I know I've only read a couple of them, and the art is really good.
it is
The
very
artist
good.
is fantastic.
Yeah, and the story's fantastic. The dialogue is great. It's just all super great.
Yeah. Well, speaking of both Vader and Thrawn and the book coming out in June, there's a recent snippet of the book was posted, a little paragraph of some stuff with Palpatine and Thrawn and Vader, and Palpatine talking to them. And one part of it's very interesting because he's sending them on a mission, and a mission about a disturbance in the Force. And he says, the disturbance is located at the edge of your unknown regions, the Emperor says. It appears to be centered on a planet named Batu. He sensed a reaction from, Palpatine sensed a reaction, but the reaction came from both of them. I believe you've heard of it. Thrawn's eyes were hooded, the expression on the blue-skinned face swirling with memories. Yes, I have indeed heard of it, as of course had Vader. It was the place where he and Thrawn had long ago interfered, albeit unwittingly, with one of Palpatine's plans. So, a couple things here. That again, there's a disturbance in the unknown regions.
Yeah,
That Palpatine's still,
still obsessed with.
and he mentions that it's near the Chiss homeworld.
Yeah,
Earlier in the snippet, that this disturbance is near the Chiss homeworld, and the disturbance is centered on a planet named Batu. Batu is the planet that we're going to get to go to in Galaxy's Edge at the Disneyland and Disney World.
Yeah.
So that's the planet that we're going to be going to the theme parks with the turkey legs and the fat people walking around with balloons. So they're mentioning Batu in the book, and they're apparently going to Batu. And additionally, Vader and Thrawn have both been on Batu.
yeah.
But Vader was Skywalker because it was prior to him being part of Palpatine. It was Thrawn and Skywalker unwittingly thwarting a plan of Palpatine's, which we do know from the first Thrawn book that Skywalker and Thrawn worked together during the Clone Wars.
Which is
at
how
some
he suspected, how Thrawn suspected that Vader was Anakin, right?
Exactly.
Because he always had that.
Yeah, just like Tarkin does.
Yeah, right. Very few people knew Anakin
Exactly.
back then that are still around in places of power
That
now.
didn't get killed by Anakin.
Right.
Right. So Thrawn and Anakin worked together during the Clone Wars, and that's where Thrawn was introduced to the Republic and the Empire, and that's when he chose and saw that the Empire was going to be the victor, And that's when he decided and formulated his plan that happened in the first Thrawn book to
Yes.
ingratiate himself and become part of, become a lieutenant and then all the way up to
Right.
Admiral Thrawn.
That was blessed by the Chiss and all that stuff.
So based off of this, they're going on a mission together. They don't want to go on a mission together. They're going to Batu, which is a new place that's going to be the theme park. They're adding history to it in the Thrawn book.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get some personal history behind Thrawn and Skywalker and what the heck happened with this thing that they thwarted with Palpatine.
Right.
And also they're hinting at that power again. That's this disturbance in the unknown regions.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about this book.
There's a lot of really cool stuff that sounds like is going to come out of this.
Yes.
In
that snippet, they do mention stuff from Rebels about, Bendu and, and Palpatine says that's not the disturbance that he's talking about type of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And so all that stuff is canon and it exists and it's in my Thrawn, but I have to deal with it happening. But I'm very excited about the next Thrawn book.
Yeah.
And
this is, to be clear,
it's gonna be good.
This is still before the end of Rebels where Thrawn disappears.
Yeah,
with
this is
Ezra.
like in between because he had like just come back or like just finished up a mission, and the mission where he met Bendu, like Bendu was on that planet and all that stuff.
Which is one of the first, I think, around when he first showed up
Right.
in Rebels, right?
Yeah, so this is like in between that. He's pulling him out to do something else.
Yeah.
To go on this mission with Vader.
Yeah.
And this very much sounds like the Tarkin book where Tarkin and Vader have to go on a mission and neither really want to be around each other. So we're getting like another buddy cop story with Vader and Thrawn now.
Yeah.
And Thrawn's a little more chill than Tarkin is.
Yeah.
So I love the Tarkin book, and now you've got Thrawn and Vader instead of Tarkin and Vader, which makes it even better because
Right.
Thrawn is awesome.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I cannot wait for that book to happen.
It's going to be pretty great. I mean, even the stuff in the first Thrawn book where it was the first officer, Thrawn's first officer. It was his first officer, right? I forget his name now.
Yeah,
but
that like kid that he
that
kept-
came up with Thrawn basically in the academy and everything.
he kept him alongside him and brought him up with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Even that kind of little buddy cop thing was a really good book and a good story. But now
Right.
you've got Vader, who we have all this other history, about.
Right.
Yeah, it makes it even better.
Because like Thrawn's like, why am I even being involved in this? I'm an admiral and I should stay with my ship and continue the stuff that I've been tasked with chasing the rebels.
Right.
And he's like, why am I getting involved? And Vader's like, why is he getting involved? I don't need him. Just send me to do this thing.
Yeah.
And neither of them want to do it, but for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Like one thinks like, yeah, this is my job. Why is the Smurf coming with me? And then Thrawn's like, I don't need to be doing this. This is not my job. Like I have a ship and a fleet. Like
Right.
let me go admiral.
He doesn't think it's very important.
Right. Yeah, it's not more important than the mission he's already been given
Yeah.
to track down the rebels.
Right.
And then Palpatine's just screwing with both of them because he knows they don't want to do it together.
Right.
Just like he did with Tarkin and Thrawn, or Tarkin and Vader, where he's like, I know they hate each other. This is hilarious. And then he
It's just manipulating.
watches on his
them,
TV and popcorn and laughs the whole time because he's a manipulative dick that just gets joy from causing people to be uncomfortable and hate each other. Which is just Palpatine being Palpatine.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, we have a lot of good stuff going on outside of the
Solo.
outside of the thing we're supposed to care about right now.
There's a lot of good books coming out.
Yeah.
And they still haven't announced many more books after Thrawn, which I've really been surprised. With Thrawn coming out in June, it's not that long.
Yeah.
With not getting a movie this year at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
At the end of this year, yeah.
Yeah. But not getting a Star Wars movie for another year and a half.
Yeah.
We gotta give us there has to be something. There's something's coming. They're not gonna just go
Maybe.
dark without books or anything for a year and a half.
Yeah, maybe.
Other than the comic series that keep running. I'm still surprised with all the big conventions that have happened recently.
Yeah.
There have been no book announcements, which I find odd.
I think because I think they're gearing up to do another
End of
like
year.
major character in a book kind of thing. Like they did
Could
with
be.
Thrawn. I think they're gearing up to do that kind of thing
That could be.
again.
Who would you even
Boba Fett. I don't know.
Boba Fett series?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, I'll take a Boba Fett comic book at this point.
That would be really sweet.
That
Yeah.
that would be sweet.
All right. Well,
Somehow we talked for a very long time
We did.
with almost nothing. As usual.
If you enjoy the show, go to the place that lets you put up stars and ratings, mainly iTunes, because I think that's the only one that cares. And leave a review. Leave us some stars and, say what you like about the show. And if you don't like the show, say what you don't like about the show so that we can make the show better. Leave us a review. It helps
or just
people
read
find
the
the
review
show.
and get angry at you and not do anything different.
Yeah. We'll report you. No, tell us if you like the show or if you don't like the show, because we want to make the show better or continue to do the things that you like. And it also helps other people find the show so that you don't have to bother people in person, because no one likes to talk to you. Also, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Hokey_religion. You can find us on Instagram at Hokey Religion.
No underscore. Important.
No underscore there. You can find us wherever else noises are made.
In the distant future.
If you really, really like the show, you can go to patreon.com/hokeyreligion and you can donate
You have
money
many
to
great
the
options,
needs.
such as give us $1, such as also give us $2.50, and then you get a sticker out of it.
Yes. And many more tiers of
Give us
patronage.
$5, and I think we said you can come on the show or something like that.
I don't think $5.
It's a really low
Maybe.
price, whatever it is.
But yeah, go to patreon.com and you can patronize us and help support the show to, because the shit costs money and we need to fund it sometimes out of other means. And you're the means.
Right now, the poll that I have to get back to is the means.
So yeah, if you really like the show, you can go there. And if you want a sticker, that's an easy way just to just do 1 month patronage and get a sticker out of it and be done. Cut it off after that.
Cut it off.
It'll cost us half of your $250 to send you the sticker. So it's really just
If
for
you're
you.
worried about us making out of this deal, there's really not a lot to be had
you
from
think
it.
we're screwing you over, trust us, we're not. We screw you over whenever you listen to this podcast.
Yes, that's true. As soon as you turn it on. We got your download. Aha!
Too late, you've been counted. All right, well, we hope you enjoyed the new intro music. That's definitely going to play every single time. This is Tyler.
This is Michael.
Goodbye.
Oh wow, this is really good. I like it. Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side. Did I get it?
Yeah, baby, that was fine.
Okay, mister.